Well, part one of Spyfall, to be honest, didn't really do much for me at all. I didn't find it a bad episode, but I kind of found it a nothing episode, and literally, if it wasn't for the cliffhanger, nothing would have changed. And to be honest, yeah, that cliffhanger was clearly put in place just for that reason, and I am going to be spoiling this episode, so yeah, get comfortable, everyone. So, Spyfall Part 2. Oh boy, does this just feel like a pointless kind of thing? To me, thinking that this probably should have just been a single 45-minute episode. In fact, if it was, then the pacing and that and the story, to be honest, would have flown a lot better than it has. Because for this episode, pretty much, being an hour long, this episode being an hour long, the episode doesn't feel like it's actually getting started until the half an hour mark. For half an hour, it just feels like we're kind of just fucking around a bit. Yeah. So, I'd like to properly talk about the Master, since this time I think I can form an opinion on him. And I really do like our new Master. I really do. The only thing is that he's completely fucking wasted in this episode. He is completely wasted, as he doesn't do a lot, to be honest. He kills a few people with his TCE, and for some reason the TCE looks like a Victorian cigarette lighter, at least from what you briefly see of it. So, yeah, I don't know why it looks like that. I mean, it makes sense in the Victorian era, but then it looks the same as that through the rest of it. I mean, it's better than the sonic screwdriver design, but anything's better than that design. That's not saying much. But yeah, the Master's just kind of just wasted in this story, as, to be honest, he spends the entire episode, and I'm not joking, the entire episode, he is just chasing the Doctor through time. That's what he's doing. He is just chasing the Doctor through time. That is all. That is all he's doing. And normally that would be enough, but it's just not that interesting because he doesn't get to do a lot. To be honest, he feels kind of wasted. Just like, right, we've got this new Master, and we're gonna do absolutely nothing with him, which is a shame because it feels like such wasted potential. Because the performance is really strong. It is really great. Throughout, I do think that, though, the bits where he's, more quieter, more calmer, more, what's the right word? Boy, I don't know, my mind's not exactly there at the minute, because I've literally just finished watching the episode. But I don't like it when they go into sort of John Sim wacky territory. With it, though that is probably more down to the writing, more down to the direction, but the cunningness and that on the Master is there. And to be honest, he might be my favourite Master of the new series. Yeah, he might be, because even with an episode like this is how much he was able to make a good impression in this episode. The problem is the rest of the episode kind of falls apart. I mean, we've got Graham, Yaz, and Ryan. Did they even matter at all in this episode? I mean, we followed them escape from the plane and then become fugitives. And to be honest, it's very similar to The Sound of Drums, when the Doctor, Martha, and Captain Jack were fugitives, in a way like that. But they contribute nothing to the story at all. Literally, we see them escape, thanks to the Doctor's help. But other than that, no, they contribute absolutely nothing to the story. They do absolutely nothing. If you remove them from the story, nothing would happen. In fact, actually, the way that the creatures, which are finally given a name in this episode, which I can't remember, are defeated actually so almost off screen in a way, because the thing with that we see in the office, the thing in the glass box that everyone made jokes about, yeah, that was actually a plot device. Yeah. And then the Doctor just magically fixes it off screen using the Master's TARDIS, which didn't change shape. Yeah, and the Doctor makes a joke saying, oh yeah, he's being lazy or something, or whatever, but to be honest, the Master's TARDIS, I don't know, because the way the chameleon circuit works has always been a little bit different. In some stories, it does automatic. As far as I'm aware, and a lot, the most consistent one is that it just automatically changes to blending with its surroundings, but it can be manually changed. So I don't know why it didn't in this circumstance. Yeah, a bit weird, and it's a shame that the Master just doesn't really get to do much in this episode, because most of the episode is actually, not set in present day. It's actually set in France during 1943. A massive chunk of it, and then the other is set in the 1800s. And this, I mean, it is kind of relevant, but it just feels like we're spending all this time here just to fill time. It literally just feels like this is all pointless, and this could have been easily cut down so much. It just feels unnecessary and stretched out. I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing with Chris Chibnall's writing here. It just feels like just to have a two-parter, but he's only got an idea worth 45 minutes. So he'll stretch it out, but not giving it, decent character development or anything. Oh, no. Let's just stretch it out with pointless banter. That does end up being completely pointless because, the memories of almost everyone are wiped of it. Yeah, great. Oh, and also, our villains kind of, get away with it. I mean, not the Master, he's trapped in whatever universe reality thing that is, but Lenny Henry, he is just seeing, he basically tells the human race that they're done, they're over, they're all gonna die because of him. And yet he's just seeing leaving. Yeah, he doesn't seem to get consequences for it. So are they setting up something for a future episode? Well, they definitely set up something in this one, and this is going to be a major spoiler. And we've got another one, people. We've got another one. We had Stephen Moffat doing this, but it looks like Chris Chibnall's going to have another a go at it as well. Fucking with canon. Oh dear. Yes, remember that line of the child of Gallifrey or whatever from the Ghost Monument, I think it was. Yeah, apparently that's now relevant again. Yeah, something that everyone literally forgot about is now suddenly relevant again. Because at some point the Master went back to Gallifrey and realised that the Time Lords had been lying about their origins or something, or I don't know, they'd been lying about something. And as a result, he decides to burn Gallifrey and presumably kill everyone or kill most people. So does that mean the Time Lords, apart from him and the Doctor, are dead again? So if so, are we going to do this last of the Time Lords thing where it's just like, oh god, we spent all that time getting the Time Lords back, But no, now, maybe they're all gone again. And I'm just like, why have we got to do this again? Why? But then, to be honest, I could have dealt with that, but I really hope that, Christian was not going to fuck with this canon. But he probably is, and I'm probably not going to like it. I hated it when Stephen Moffat did it, and I'm going to hate it when Chris Chibnall does it. Because apparently the Time Lords lied, the Time Lord forefathers and that, lied about something. And this and that. And then finally, we get a bit at the end where Graham, and Yaz and Ryan finally, decide to ask the Doctor who she is. And we're just thinking, out of all the time, this is how poorly written they are. Like, out of all the time you've known the Doctor, which is apparently a while, you've never once, not once, thought to ask who she is. Not even once. Seriously. You never once thought to ask, and this is why the companions don't feel particularly that real, and just feel more like placings. To be honest, like, if it wasn't for, sort of apart from Graham, but that's mainly due to Bradley Walsh's performance. I mean, to be honest, would Graham be, a liked character if Bradley Walsh, wasn't giving it all with the performance? Probably not. Probably not, to be honest. Because he doesn't really get to do anything in this episode, or the previous one. Yeah. It's really hard to talk about Chris Chibnall episodes because they just feel so empty and dull. This episode just kind of felt empty, to be honest. It really didn't need to be the length it was, and it certainly didn't need to be a two-parter. There are many episodes that should have been two-parters. This isn't one of them, though. Heck, and this, one probably had more going in than part one, so part one is probably going to be even more of a drag if you ever decide to rewatch it. I probably will not be, because, oh boy, this was a utter drag to get through. My overall thoughts, I hate this episode. It's kind of the same as last week, it's just a nothing thing to me. And I know, I sound like I'm stuck on repeat, but it honestly bloody is. But I am worried about what it may do. And what it may be setting up to do. But, hopefully we will get to see our new master, again at some point, hopefully. Maybe the finale, who knows, maybe the master will be teaming up with the Daleks or something. Or what, I don't know. Because, to be honest, he kind of just felt like an afterthought. He kind of felt like two separate things. You got a story about the master, and then the other creatures, which kind of just get forgotten about. In fact, they don't speak at all in this episode. Remember how they were talking last week? Yeah, this week they didn't speak once. And they were barely in the episode. So I don't know how they were considered, much of a threat or scary in that. I mean, they did start, their plan of erasing human DNA, which is apparently to use our DNA as a hard drive. But, yeah, great. We literally find this out moments before it's due to happen. So there's no tension during it. I mean, it's hard to feel tension, Tell you what, I've just thought of something, a way to describe it, okay? Imagine someone just shoots you randomly out of the blue. You're not going to feel scared and that beforehand, you may be in pain and shock afterwards, but, the beforehand, there's no build-up to it. However, if someone pulls out a gun at you and holds the gun at you and tells them that you're going to kill them, you're then going to be anticipating and shitting yourself. And then, obviously, if it does happen, then, ooh, there you go, you've been shot. But if it doesn't happen, you still have that impact here. You're not going to have that. Because you're not going to have the after bit with the shock, and you're not going to have the before bit after. Can you tell how bored I am that I having to think of other things to talk about with this thing? Honestly. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of it for my review of this episode. I'm getting a bit tired now. Ugh. See you next week, maybe, to be honest. Let me know if I should actually bother doing this next week, because this is just tiresome to get through. Seriously, this is just boring.